Hello and thank you for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, NLC insists next minimum wage will be based on costs of living. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Paul Dada. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us despite the assurances by the Apex Bank last week on the continued use of both the old and the new Naira notes for transactions. The cash scarcity in Lagos metropolis became more pronounced yesterday as customers were limited to 10,000 Naira over-the-counter cash while withdrawing. Some banks were totally out of cash based on the cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Individual customers can make withdrawal of a maximum of 500,000 Naira per week with a limit of 100,000 in a day, while corporates were limited to 5 million Naira weekly cash withdrawal. Jide, a confession to make here. Since the Emefiele debacle, I can't remember entering a banking hall, as in even the ATM thing. I just do my transaction through the POS guys. Give me cash, let me pay for it, and I can't remember what they are charging on the counter or what the ATM maximum fee is.
Well, those guys have come to bridge a gap, and they are doing it well. They are like our personal bankers, and you can imagine for people living in the rural areas. I wonder how they can survive without the
POS guys. Or how they were surviving, how we were surviving.
Banks have shut so many branches as a result of insecurity. Once a branch gets attacked, maybe like 2 times, they will just shut it down completely.
Can't bear the
And
lesson.
that's why you go to some states like Yobe, it's only in a few towns that you see bank branches, you know. You go to even Zamfara, it's only in very few communities that you see banks. Some local government headquarters, you see banks. You travel through Kano, from Zaria to Kano. After you leave Zaria, you will drive so many kilometers, you won't see any bank. You pass through many communities without seeing a single bank. You know, so insecurity is a factor. Banks are only going to open business where they are sure that they won't be attacked. So that is a problem, and that was why even it was difficult for people to go into the bank and submit their money at that time. You know, because of the problem. Then of course, some people decided to hoard new notes because they thought that on the 31st of December, the deadline will kick in. But the CBN came out to say no. Maybe the mistake they made was that they should have started the sensitization earlier, no, to let people know, not wait until like a month to the deadline and start telling people that, look, don't worry, nothing is going to happen, the old Naira notes will still be legal tender. Look at the time when the Supreme Court gave the order. What was a Supreme Court order that it should terminate the 31st, you know. Maybe they should have approached the Supreme Court earlier so that Nigerians will be sufficiently sensitized that, look, there's no need for you to be hoarding money. People,
because I think we have enough to spend.
We have enough, especially of the old notes. They didn't print enough of the new notes.
But the old notes, we have.
The old notes are there. The government even told the Supreme Court justice that, look, we do not have the capacity to print those new notes at this time in a manner that will go around, enough to go around. So let's forget about that one. But we have those new notes. Those new notes are, those old notes are helping us now. So people have made a lot of withdrawals. There's been a big run on the banks. Now the banks, once people realize that this is not going to happen, then the banks can now find a way to shore up their stock of Naira notes. We cannot afford to go back to what happened earlier in the year when people were suffering. Once you can, it's not as bad as that time, because if you still approach the POS, you can get 100,000,
give it
get 50,000, you know, which is what you need for the day. You will survive. So for many of, even me, I don't think that in the last 2.5 to 3 months I've entered the banking hall.
Since the Emefiele,
if there's no need, why should I can always get someone to take money from me from the ATM gallery, or I go to a POS operator.
If you are restricted with the ATM gallery, the POS guys will give you.
No, they will
more.
give you. They will give you. So that is the thing.
I think
We don't.
Per 1,000, per 10,000, you, I don't know.
It depends on who you are
10,000,
doing business with, and it depends on the community. For example, in the north, it's cheaper than here. You know, sometimes when I want to take 50K, they will ask for 3. It depends. Yes.
That's quite expensive.
Yes. What you pay in Akute is not the same as what you pay here in the town.
Okay.
So it depends on where you are transacting the business. So
okay, Paul. As in, why should this commodity be scarce?
Honestly, you know what I said?
It's essential.
I just said, not again. We can't go through this again. No, we just can't. And we just hope that those who are holding the money will release it. Like BK said, you know how people, this panic, people always panic when it comes to things like this. I will also agree that the CBN should have approached the Supreme Court earlier. But I think what the CBN can do now is to keep sensitizing the people. You know, the reason why the banks are rationing the...
in fact, somebody suggested that Ashwaju should address the nation on this matter.
Absolutely.
Because it's clear that people are not convinced that that deadline.
So
Maybe
they're still suffering from the trauma of before.
The sensitization is not enough.
Exactly.
So somebody suggested that the president should address the people and let them know that, look, both of these notes are legal tender for now.
You can even do radio jingles and all of that.
We don't suffer ourselves more.
Especially the uninformed among us. So they should know. You can't blame the banks. Because what it means, people have been collecting money from the cash from the banks and they are not returning. So if the banks have no cash, and there's no
they are collecting money.
They are collecting money
to all at home,
and they are not returning.
And it's going to impact on the POS sooner or later if we don't do something about it. Because if they cannot get cash from the banks, then
they will go to filling stations. They'll go to filling stations.
Yeah, or people will start buying. They'll start.
Because they get a lot of their money from filling stations.
So, it's very, 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 very strange that I can't bring myself to.
I think what happened back then has eroded the confidence of Nigerians on the banks, and people were saying that, look, if they had known, they would not have put so much of their money in the banks. The pains that people went through. You can imagine, and each of us suffered. When we remember the people who are saying that they stood by Emefiele, some of them overrated journalists, saying they stood by Emefiele. You want to convince yourself that these are conscienceless people, because the number of deaths recorded during that period. If you truly have conscience, and not a bigoted and politically exposed journalist, you can't say that you stand by a man whose policy has brought Nigerians to their graves. You cannot say that. Do you know what you are talking about? Are you normal? So people taking money and refusing to go back to use the banks, deposit money in the banks, is a consequence of the erosion of confidence in the banks, which happened during that period.
Yes.
You don't blame them. Some would rather now you go and dig somewhere and put their money.
I'm telling you,
so that when you need the money, you have access to it. You just go there and pick your thing.
Not to go and
you are not. You are facing maybe your child is in hospital. You need to pay to buy blood and all that, and you can't find money. So you cannot blame those who are. I think somebody even warned that by the time this whole thing is over, the banks will suffer. Because a lot of people, especially these small and medium scale nano businesses, they will not use the banks. They will not use the banks because the confidence in the banks was eroded. And to the shame of the people at CBN, they were lying against the banks, accusing the banks of hoarding.
That time, I remember.
They went to a bank in Abuja, and some people were jubilating that, yes, they dealt with the bank. They claimed that the bank was hoarding. Whereas that bank was a cash center for other branches from where they distribute. So what was supposed to go to their branches, in that region, they push to that bank first before it goes to others. You now found them before they distributed the money. You now said that they were hoarding. Okay. Of course, they provided the proof to show that, look, we were yet to supply our branches.
All right. We can take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breakdown. Please stay with us.
Major news story is with many perspective and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, is one of the strongholds of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. But in his first exclusive and extensive interview, the state governor, Mai Mala Buni, admitted that the 2023 general election was not a walk in the park for the party.
My fear was triggered by the currency redesign, actually. The timing was wrong. When APC vehicles are passing, some are even throwing stones.
Governor Buni also provides insight on the behind-the-scene politicking that saw his emergence as chairman of the APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee between 25th of June 2020 and the 22nd of March 2022.
I don't feel betrayed that much because it's politics. If somebody is interested in becoming a president and he don't seem to see you supporting him, and whatever name he's calling you is legitimate.
Speaking further, he sheds light on the critical position the ruling party assumes in national politics and governance.
The stability of a ruling party is the stability of any given country. You see, once a party is in power, you have to support the party to succeed, not because you belong to the party, but for your country to succeed.
Watch the full interview with Governor Mai Mala Buni on Journalist Hangout on Wednesday, 6th of December 2023 by 5 p.m. only on TVC News.
Thank you for staying with us. Julie, we have to have a final verdict on this. We mustn't allow this to degenerate because we've seen that this currency is tied to so many lives and survivors of Nigeria.
There is scarcity in the banks. The CBN has to address that. The CBN has to address that. As much as we want to control the cash what's it called? The circulation. We must not overdo it. You can't tell a man who knows that he has the right to withdraw 100,000, that he can only withdraw 10,000. When you do that, you are telling him that we are back to the Emefiele.
You are violating his rights.
Yes, we are back to the Emefiele Naira painting project. That's what to suggest to people, and they don't want to remember that nightmarish experience. And you see, the recoloring is even so terribly done. Look at how poor that quality. Take that 1,000 naira, keep it with you for 24 hours, and come and look at it. The other one, is so durable. The
Very
whole
rugged.
you will see it looks fine as you are
Yes.
looking at it. Those new notes,
It's
it looks fine
just
when you
change
are
of
looking
color.
at it.
But the quality.
Within a short time, it gets terribly
Yes,
bad.
that's true.
I don't know the kind of people that they gave this job to.
Paul, I don't know. We have security at meeting. I think for the first time they attempted to do this job, but did they make good use of it? I can't say.
I don't know. The whole thing was poorly planned, poorly executed, wrong timing. Everything about that, the Naira recoloring or repainting was bad, was poorly
It's not
done.
redesign. You can call it redesign if the design really changed. It's just the color. That
so that's why we said it's
It's
recoloring.
as it's repainting.
Officially, they
Don't
call it.
deceive us. It's
they
the
call
same
it
way
design.
that Awolowo and the rest of the way they sat down in those notes. That's the same way they are presented.
So nothing
it's
is
the color
redesigned
that
there.
changed.
Yes.
So it's not redesign. It's repainting,
And anytime we
recoloring.
want to,
You know.
a project like that, we must give it time.
Exactly.
Not this short time. frame.
Exactly.
allow
I
it
know.
to
You know, we
evolve.
said that during the period that we were having that serious cash crunch. So anything that has to be done should be done now. Because if you don't do it, people will overwhelm the electronic transactions. Remember the ugly
yeah.
experiences we had.
Yeah.
Some of us could
Before
not do
even
transaction
doing
on
that.
The banking
midnight.
portals, they're till tomorrow.
Exactly.
They've not been able to cope with the
Because
quantum.
you should have first asked questions. That, okay, when we are doing this, a huge proportion of our population would like to go electronic. Do we have the capacity?
Yes.
We don't.
To
Infrastructure,
do that.
everything that
The fintech guys, do they have the capacity to take in all
yes,
of the
till tomorrow is still a
deluge
nightmare.
of customers
Yes,
wanting
yes.
to use those payment platforms? We didn't do that. We just went, whoo, let us do it. And our decision has said that we are going to have a cashless election. Did we have it in the end? Politicians still were able to spend money. In fact, a friend of mine was telling me that he sent a senator from Kano, that he brought out those new notes. The way he was spending it in Kano, he was wondering, where did he get it? The ordinary people
Don't
get
we have access to it.
But it is foolhardy to think the Nigerian politician
Exactly.
who has his friends as bank MDs and the rest will not have.
They just afflicted the masses.
They just
That's-
afflicted the masses.
that was
for
all.
what?
Moving forward now, the Supreme Court has dismissed the application by Emeka Ihedioha of the People's Democratic Party sought to remove Hope Uzodinma from office as governor of Imo State. Emeka prayed the court to give a consequential order to the Independent National Electoral Commission to issue a certificate of return to him as the validly elected governor of Imo State in the 2019 election. Justice Tijani Abubakar, who read the judgment, held that the application was not only frivolous and vexatious, but lacked merit. Politicians are die-hard optimists. Paul, let me start from you. Emeka Ihedioha did not participate in the last election. He just had one election in Imo State. And I don't know if this had sailed through Supreme Court directly, I don't know what might have happened. But I don't know what he's praying for.
You know, I sometimes wonder what the problem is. You know, there was a lawyer was a guest on one of the programs here on TVC here, and he said, even when lawyers tell politicians that, lawyers in their heart know that this thing cannot fly, politicians will just say, okay, let's go ahead and do it. The fact is, if you look at this thing, even the time they filed the what's it called now, the case, the time had elapsed. You understand? The whole thing, very annoying. The point is this. The point is this. Sometimes I wonder, is it that these lawyers, they know, actually, maybe because of pecuniary benefit and all of you know, how would you expect that this kind of case will fly at the Supreme Court? I mean, if it was vexatious to the
2019, no.
2019 matter. Now the man is even very close to finishing his tenure. He has got another tenure.
Looking for a consequential order. The meaning of that is that.
No, I know now. So the truth of the matter is, the whole thing is a farce. It's fascia, and I think that beyond the court, awarding cost against the appellants, the time has come that they should begin to deal seriously with lawyers that go on wasting the court's time with cases like this. We must bring sanity to the sector. The whole thing is so annoying. is so vexatious, as the Supreme Court the judges said. Vexatious, frivolous. Irritating. Even me reading about it, I'm totally irritated because it's just.
Julie, Mike Ozekhome was fined 40 million naira by the Supreme Court to stop. As brilliant as Mike.
I hope he gets to pay.
Honestly.
I hope.
SAN.
Yes, I hope it can be made to pay. Because we've heard of the Supreme Court fining some lawyers, and those lawyers, actually big lawyers, ending up not paying. This is Nigeria.
And who goes after them for defaulting?
I don't know. I don't want to mention.
But that fine is significant. 40 million naira.
Well, whether it is 1 naira or not, you must pay. It is when you pay that we can see that yes, you have been taught an exemplary lesson. Yes. Yeah, but if they don't pay, or they find a way to beg and the issue gets overtaken by event, no punishment in the sense has been handed down. You cannot say that because the Supreme Court ruled that Uche Nwosu was
not valid.
No, that
double nomination.
Double nomination.
Yes.
Now, then infer that the APC didn't have a candidate in an election that was conducted, and somebody won. Somebody won. That same person went to court. After he won, he was challenged in court, and the victory that he got was taken away from him and given to Uzodinma. The whole cycle of that litigation was exhausted. And Uzodinma became governor in 2020. Now, you are coming back in 2023 to say that, okay, based on what the Supreme Court said at that time, it means that, oh, this Uzodinma should not have been governor. He has actually spent 4 years. He's using 4 years meant for Ihedioha. But you forgot that this same Ihedioha was the person he defeated in the Supreme Court. Some people must think that those babas and mamas in the Supreme Court, that they are senseless people, that you can just walk up to them and ask them for all kinds of prayers and they will listen. The Supreme Court, for example, has not got the power to review its own judgment. But people go in clear contradiction of the Constitution. They keep going there to say, okay, you gave this judgment the other day. Reconsider the judgment that you Justice Amina Aouje, who retired recently, she burst into tears over the fact that Olanipe Kunsan, an old lawyer, Baba Afe Babala, came before them to say, okay, this judgment that you gave the other day, review it, give a contrary judgment. That's referring to what happened in Bayelsa. He wanted them to take a second look at the judgment and then give a fresh judgment. And the woman said, I never knew that a day like this could come. These elderly people like this, knowing that the Supreme Court's hands are tied, it cannot review its own judgment after it has been made. So, even if we are not to look at that, electoral litigations are by nature time-bound. That is what we were telling them when Atiku went abroad to waste his time. We were telling them that, look, that cycle had ended. You cannot, what you did not bring before the trial tribunal. You cannot introduce it at the Supreme Court. They say, they don't know what they are saying. He's a Tinubu slave. He's this, he's that. At the end of the day, was that not what the Supreme Court said? There is someone who suggested that we should set up a company to advise politicians before they go to court that how come everything you say is what usually happens in the court, when the court will give judgment, that we should actually be making money by giving them counseling so that they don't waste their money. But that is...
They like wasting their money. They love it.
The reason you cannot treat electoral litigation like normal civil cases is that time ceiling.
Okay.
You cannot bring up, once that time ceiling is exceeded, it is finished.
All right.
Olanipekun said after the Kano Bruaha, that Kano tribunal, that look, you cannot even do anything to that CTC because the time within which you can do anything about that matter is already...
Okay, let's go for this break. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
See trouble. So today, I said I should treat myself as salary just enter. I ordered my food and was looking forward to demolishing all the orishi.
Baby, before serving, are they run?
Oh yeah, time to pay rich now.
Food where you never pay for.
Now here my card begin act film. Hey.
You know what?
You know what? Okay. After debiting me, it's like this one wants to find my trouble. See premium dragging. Oh, because this card did not work.
Save yourself the embarrassment. Get a card that works with MoneyPoint's personal banking. Download the app, request for a card and have it delivered to you in 48 hours. Experience banking on point because your money no go hang.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB Solar Energy Systems are here to ensure that we enjoy uninterruptible power, uninterruptible joy. Whether you're running a business, an institution, or just a home you return daily to rest, JRB has got you covered. No project is too big for our super digital inverters, long-lasting batteries, and efficient solar panels. Go. Dream on. Change your world. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights, and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. With JRB, the sun's gonna shine on everything you do.
Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. And I still have Paul Dada and Babajide Kolade Utitoju in the studio. And we'll be talking about that Supreme Court judgment. And so painful. At the end of the day, Jide, we don't expect this to come from senior lawyers.
No. It's now looking like there's no difference between all of them. You know? Once the client is prepared to pay,
the price is right.
Yes. How can anybody even resolve that logjam? This man has spent 3 years already, 3 years plus, going to 4.
It's going to create another crisis altogether.
How do they go back? Which kind of Supreme Court will give that kind of judgment that they were expecting? That we are come. It's just after all these years. And it's the same man that went before the court and lost.
My own is that there should be a way of dealing with this recklessness. Because if you look at it, the Supreme Court has a lot of cases.
Yes.
A lot of cases. It's not only election cases, so there are civil cases, there are criminal cases.
Yes. It's just that one court for everything.
Just one court, and then you are bringing this frivolity.
Every state has
when people that have genuine cases, the apex court is not able to attend to them. But people that have collected money from politicians, maybe because politicians have access to money easily, they have a lot of excess money, so they just give money to lawyers and all of that. There should be a way of checking it. I think people should be made scapegoats.
Politicians too are too optimistic.
Okay.
You should have known, if the lawyer tries to convince you that, look, you can win this case. Let's try, we can win. You should know what cases you cannot win. This is what, because they are too politically greedy and power drunk, power
desperation.
They're desperate for power. They would think, if I say it can't work and it works. How many times has it worked? Remember former SSA domestic affairs to Obasanjo?
Yes,
Anduba. Going before a court that dismissed his matter,
2007.
Supreme Court, and telling the court to review
his
judgment. Consistently, they've been going. The former governor of Zamfara made the same application before they review your case. They didn't answer. The Supreme Court has never had, the only time the Supreme Court can review its matter is if there is a clerical error in that judgment. They will review it. It can be the basis for a review. But the law does not permit them, after giving judgment, to go back and undo what they have done. No, it's not going to happen. They can keep wasting their time.
Approbate and reprobate. It's actually a mockery of the judiciary. You know, I just believe these people keep mocking the judiciary, and they have to nip that trend in the bud, because it keeps up. And the funny thing is, they keep doing it, they keep failing.
They keep failing, but they don't.
But somebody will still try
to because the politician will bring money.
Exactly.
If it's their own money they are spending, you think they will be doing it?
Lie to the politician.
Somebody will try it next year, next 2 years, 3 years. You know, if nothing is done to check the trend, it continues
people
indefinitely.
Can go and file a matter in bringing Kudu, an Anambra matter in bringing Kudu.
Just because of the courts.
So they will give him judgment
that
is insignificant, judgment that is useless. But he has collected money from the politician. He has achieved his aim.
All right. President Bola Tinubu has described the military airstrike that accidentally killed at least 85 civilians in Tuesday Tundubiri village, Agabi local government area of Kaduna State, as very unfortunate, disturbing and painful, expressing indignation and grief over the tragic loss of Nigerian lives. According to Ajuri Ngilale, the president has directed a swift and comprehensive medical attention to surviving victims while praying for the repose of the souls of the deceased. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has called on concerned authorities to conduct thorough investigation into the accident. The former Vice President of Nigeria made the call while expressing his condolences to the families and victims of the accident in a statement on his ex-official handle. This is unfortunate.
It's terrible that this happened. But it's not the first time. There was some research that I did that showed that in December 2022, military airstrikes killed scores at Mutunji community in Maru local government. So many people were killed. Since 2017, more than 300 people are believed to have been killed by airstrikes, innocent people. On January 17, 2017, 52 were killed, while 120 others sustained injuries after Nigerian Force jets accidentally bombed an IDP camp in Ran. Ran is in Calabalge local government of Borno State, close to the border with Cameroon. Then on April 13, 2017, people, including children, were killed when the Air Force bombed Sakotoku village in Damboa, Borno State. In April 2022, a NAV fighter jet killed 6 children when it tried to bomb bandits on Kurebe, Shiroro local government. This thing has been happening. But this is the first time that the Nigerian army now has what you call the Nigerian Army Aviation. In line with what happens in advanced countries like the US. But I think that we have to slow down about the different armed forces not focusing on their own core area of competence and delving into other people's areas of core competence. The Air Force continues to put special forces who are ground troops in some parts of our country. To them, they are using it to help the army, to help the army, you know, put troops on ground. What? That's not your core area of competence. We've seen now with the army, bombing, using drone, unmanned area vehicle, otherwise known as drones, to bomb people, innocent people. It happened on Sunday. People thought it was the Air Force that...
that was what we thought.
So they had to quickly come out to say, look, in the last 24 hours, we've not conducted any raid in Kaduna State. The army now had to come out to own up. 85 persons is a lot, and 66 injured. What I know from experience is that when 66 are reported injured, a good number of those 66 could end up dying.
Yeah.
Given our poor health services and all that.
Definitely be more than that 66.
Depending on even the scale of their injuries, the extent of their injuries, some of them will still die. So we could be seeing up to 100 dead. Before you can launch an attack with an unmanned aerial vehicle, you have to do thorough work. Because it's not a pilot inside that will look down and be sure that, this target, these people don't look like bandits, so they look like civilians. And they were celebrating, for God's sake. You dropped the bomb on them. I think that we need to slow down. The army should focus more on its area of competence, because they are surface troops. These are ground troops and the rest of them. Let them continue to
work with,
build capacity in the area of their long-range guns, the artillery, their tanks, and the competence of their surface troops, the ground troops. This is their own area.
Infantry.
At this stage, I don't think we've reached that point when we can comfortably say, okay, let the Air Force, let the army to be flying drones, be flying fighter jets, be flying helicopters. I don't think we've reached that point because they are relatively new. Someone told me that it is not even long that they started this thing. They have to acquire the right competence. For now, it is the Air Force. Even the Air Force itself, they make some of these mistakes. So you can imagine how many lives we are going to lose if the Air Force that has the competence that's what they've been doing for years, if they are still killing innocent people, and then you are bringing in the army to be dropping bombs, whereas they've never actually acquired competence in that area. They are army, for God's sake. They are ground troops. So I'm really worried about how many people we end up killing before the army gets to that point when you can feel comfortable that yes, they can handle drones and other area vehicles. Let's be careful. The proliferation of drones must stop. You say, okay, maybe the immigration, they too will acquire drones tomorrow, and with guns fitted on them, and we have to be careful. This is really what do you call it? A real warning for us to know that look, this thing will not continue.
Your final word on this?
Yes. What happened in that community is a very tragic one, but a lot of there are questions begging for answers. My own, I would just say there should be proper investigation. You know, the DHQ released a statement. They said that there was a case of terrorist activities in that area. Yes or no? They also said that they expect that normally when a community like that is having a program or having they should inform the forces. What
we are celebrating?
yes. So
people can't do celebration.
So they have to inform. No, they are saying that because that's a terrorist-prone area, according to them. So that should be proved. So I would align myself with those who are saying, well, the president has done the right thing by saying that it must be investigated. All well-meaning Nigerians, including the Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, saying that it must be thoroughly investigated. So I will agree to that.
Okay.
Then I also think that I don't know whether there was I don't know how much of synergy happened between the Nigerian Air Force or Nigerian Army. Was the Air Force aware that the Army was going to?
No, the thing is, if you have acquired your own area vehicles, Army deliberately acquired theirs. I was told that they're also trying to acquire helicopters now. That means on their own they can go on some missions.
Okay. Need
without the Air Force too will have their own. When they want to do joint operation, which is usually under the command of the Chief of Defense Staff, that will be coordinated. They know that, okay, we are going to this place, Air Force, go and soften the target for us before the ground move.
Exactly.
That in this case, they did it alone.
Yeah.
Trusting the equipment, the vehicle that the area vehicle that they had in their possession. And for me, it is something that you will still acquire capability, but we need to slow down.
Okay.
We need to slow down.
All right.
We're sure that they have that capability before we can freely say, okay, Nigerian Army, go and use your drones, go and use your helicopters. You have to be careful.
And finally, ahead of the expected resumption of negotiation between the federal government and the organized labor on the new minimum wage, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, is meeting to brainstorm on a new living wage that will be commensurate with the prevailing cost of living. This is as the NLC has vowed not to be deterred by the recent assault on workers and their leaders in Imo States. The NLC, Joe Ajero, who was represented by the Deputy President, Benjamin Anthony, made this known at the opening session of the NLC 2023 Hamatan School in Abuja. Commiserate new minimum wage, living wage, commiserate with what we have on ground now, Jide.
Oh. Whatever will be
commiserate. We are looking at
whatever will match the current
the inflation rate.
We don't even know where we are going. Maybe by early next year, in terms of cost of living, things could be worse than this. You know, when Yemi Adefarakon and Victoria Ajayi, who are in charge of our finances here, when they projected that the Naira, they did their budget on a projection that the Naira will get to 1,000. We thought they were fools. Because at the time they were projecting that the Naira will get to 1,000, officially, on the official market, it was still around 420, 440 and all that.
Direct climbing.
And then 700s in the black market, 700, 750. It had not exceeded that. We never knew that the decision of the president to work towards a convergence of those rates will now lead us to beyond 1,000. So we were like, this is too ambitious.
Hold your thoughts a little bit, and we'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
It's like every other year, my wife wants to paint, and her own kind of budget just makes me want to faint. 50 pockets of paint? Make it make sense. I'm only dropping cheddar if it's using Santex.
Santex? Yes, Santex. The amazing durability is more than mere text. Rich quality paint within your budget. So make the smart choice. Paint with Santex.
Can't go wrong
With a smart choice. Santex paint. Smart choice.
Paint your dreams on the walls of your reality. Buy Santex paint products from October to December 2023 and win amazing prizes. Offers available at authorized Santex paint stores across Nigeria. Santex paints, the smart choice.
Be this. See me see trouble. So today, I said I should treat myself as salary just enter. I ordered my food and was looking forward to demolishing all the orishi.
Baby, before serving, are they run?
Oh yeah, time to pay rich now.
Food where you never pay for.
Now here my card begin acting. Hey, You know what? You know what? After debiting me, it's like this one wants to find my trouble. Say premium dragging. Oh, because this card did not work.
Save yourself the embarrassment. Get a card that works with MoneyPoint's personal banking. Download the app, request for a card and have it delivered to you in 48 hours. Experience banking on point because your money no go hang.
Thank you for staying with us. Jide, what are we going to have in commensurate with...
That's what I'm saying. At this stage, the cost of living in January and February could be worse than what we have. In fact, unless something drastic happens, it would be worse. So, I don't know the minimum wage that anybody can pay that will actually be a living wage, unless it's in the region of 200,000. Because people have families, they have to pay the school fees, of their children, be able to pay for accommodation. These are the things that you need to make available. If you can't provide a living wage that ensures that people can pay their bills, send their children to good schools, not great schools, good enough schools, and be able to feed them, to eat now, even to eat moderately now, you need a minimum of 2,000 to eat moderately. And you see the protein that they will put to be this tiny. People who have children in schools now who have to pay for their feeding, they know what they are going through. Because things are costly, you know. So I just think that, look, this process, the negotiation could drag on beyond the April 1 deadline that the government has set for itself, because these talks are not going to be easy at all. And I'm sure that Labour will bring their big guns, as the Americans always say, they will bring their big guns to the negotiation table to try and get the best that they can get for our people, because things are way, way, way too expensive at this time. Huh?
And if Jide is predicting that things will get tougher by next year, early next year, that means the NLC will be asking for the range of the amount is talking about.
You've already asked for 200,000.
Usually, the NLC doesn't think about the state of the economy before making its demands. You know, NLC just say, give us this and give us that. But if you look at what the optics are, the inflation rate keeps increasing. You understand? It keeps increasing.
And our local government pay
the truth is, we have to pay that. Even this current minimum wage, as low as it is, some states are not paying. States that are not even viable economically. How much more what they are asking for? But the truth is that the workers deserve the best. What I would suggest is this: let us work with while government must, of course, tighten its belt to make sure that things, you know, at least things, the problems are de-escalated. But the thing is, what I think would happen, what should happen is, let us be very, very realistic. Let us set a realistic minimum wage. That's one. While we are doing that, let the rollout of the palliatives continue. You know, the CNG buses, you know, if you flood, let's intensify actions on things like that. If you have CNG buses, for example, the cost of transportation, you know, will reduce. So, you know that, okay, even when the desirable is not available, the available becomes the desirable. So, those are the things. Sometimes we can still give wage awards, you know, all of those things that can at least make life a little bit easy for the people. But 200,000 naira minimum wage, it's not realistic. It's as desirable as it is. Nigeria doesn't just have the money.
There's no way.
And many states in this country,
they won't pay.
Even the private sector.
Even the private sector too can't pay. That's why I was suggesting Sunday that law should be amended. See, what works in one state may not necessarily work in another state.
Yep.
If I was living in Zamfara, for example,
the cost of living,
or Yobe, look, I will survive on a minimum wage that is way lower than that of Lagos.
Yeah.
I mean, I will survive on a minimum wage that is relatively okay. But in Lagos, I will struggle. In Port Harcourt, I will struggle. In Abuja, I will struggle. So the point that I'm making is that in some of those states, food is cheap because food inflation is the biggest driver of inflation in our country, inflationary trend in our country. So what people want to eat is what we need to address. And that's why we've been saying that a lot of these governors, they are not doing enough by way of distributing palliatives to people. We've seen Yobe do it. They took soldiers to an area that Boko Haram occupied for 3 years. They went there to give food to people. And we all saw them. It was hand-to-hand distribution. We showed it yesterday. The people put it on their heads, even women put it on their shoulders. They were going home. It's not a case of you are dumping it on the so-called community leader who is so selfish that it's only people of his party that or his friends are
giving one derica of rice to
or tell people to share a bag of rice. No. Young people. I said there's a video of a girl that's now up to 80 years struggling to carry
our own.
Yes. Struggling to carry a 20 kg bag of rice. We know what rice is in our country today. Some governors are doing it, others are not doing it. We will never be able to pay what is the true living wage to the to people in the public service. But we must be seen to be doing our best to alleviate the suffering in other areas, either in the area of transportation, because transportation guzzles people's money.
Yeah, accommodation.
You know,
accommodation now, landlords now, landlords they've gone berserk.
Or the food support. Food support, government has set aside money for it. Why are you not distributing relief or food items to people? Why are you not doing that? How do you show leadership without empathy? If you don't have empathy, you can't be a good leader. You must be able to respond to the sufferings of your people. And that's what differentiates some of these governors from others. I was asking the governor of Yobe, I said, what are you people doing as governors to make sure that our people get these palliatives? Some of you are doing well, others are not doing anything. What are you? Is it that you don't talk to yourselves? I asked him, he parried the question.
White elephant projects.
I mean, because clearly, you know, I was like, this man didn't answer my question. I asked it the second time.
The politician
so I gave up. I could see.
But he's doing his own.
He's doing his own. Anyway, he's not responsible for that state.
Yes. It's not, yes.
Talk about him, you can talk about Jobe, you can talk about Meduguri.
He didn't want to distract him.
Just wanted to focus on he's doing it. But no, he's doing it. But how many more governors can we talk about who are doing it transparently?
I'm telling you.
Who are doing it transparently, and money has been voted for it.
Yeah.
In fact, the money voted for it is not enough.
It's not enough.
Like this December now, what will make people happy is for them to see, okay, this thing is rolled out. Let people even get something that they can be happy with their government.
That you do that kind of thing you did in Yobe yesterday in Southwest.
Many times,
many
times, Labour focuses on federal.
Very happy.
It just one village.
Yes, they'll be very happy.
Labour focuses only on federal.
Local government chairman.
That is
are they monitoring the state government? Are they monitoring the way they are running out the palliatives?
Some of them are even being used. They are being used for political ends. They call themselves labor leaders. It's only politics that you are playing. You have a governor who has not distributed palliative even once in your state. You are not rising up as labor in that state to say, why now? Why have you not done this? You are not challenging. You are not even doing interviews to say what is happening. There are states that a governor has not been recorded to be sharing palliatives, and nobody is challenging them.
I want to thank you, Paul Dada. Thank you for your contribution. BQ.
Thanks.
May Nigeria be good?
Yes, so apologies to
that's our prayer. That's our wish.
And that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout. On Sunday, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. See you tomorrow.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill, the compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1 horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining the gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the SportX treadmill to save the cost and work out from the convenience of your home. You could pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this, but you can get the SportX treadmill for not 400,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira. Order right now and get this for just 294,500 naira only. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill delivered to you for free.